All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, let me start off this lesson by giving all praises and all blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodash. All right, uh, who put the spirit in the men. All right, uh, who pushed this word. All right. Puts the spirit in the women, all right, who help, okay, and bringing out articles, or even sending interesting things. Everything is not going to be posted, but women who are believers in this faith and who believe enough to where they send certain articles and things that uh, are associated with prophecy. All right, double honors to the apostles, to the bishop, to the elder bishops. All right, uh, elders and brothers pushing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Man, it's amazing that when I start to do a video, notifications come in. None of my devices function. Okay, I kid you not. All right, they don't function until I start doing a video. So, which leads me to believe that we are being surveilled. All right. Some videos do not post after the app just shuts down mid video, and it doesn't even save any of the video. It just shuts down. Okay. They are, listen, if you say that it's bullshit, or man, I don't believe that, listen, they put uh devices, all right, in people's phones, all right, and those devices detonated, all right. They went off on those people. Okay, so when it comes to technology, this is their technology. They have, as the scriptures say, hey, they got the power to they got the power to to bring fire from the heavens, man. All right, roughly paraphrasing the scripture. All right, if I'm saying it correctly. All right, but the name of this video is going to be "The Pride of Thine Heart Hath Deceived Thee." All right, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. This is a video in response to the Trumper man. All right, President Trump stepping in and saving the Israeli state. And I'm going to say that the Israelis, they lost. They actually lost to the Iranians. Okay, they lost. Okay, now they could still, they're still fighting. Okay, because because that's the pride of their heart. Okay, that's what these Edomites do. All right, and earlier I was watching, last night I was watching a speech by Vladimir Putin. All right, and what he said made a lot of sense. Okay, and what was said made a lot of sense. There's a huge, okay, and this shows you that that those 1948ers that are in the land, they're Edomites. Okay, because Vladimir Putin's, all right, he released it. Okay, but we already knew that. Now I really don't want to make these videos long. All right, but what Vladimir Putin said is pretty much he pretty much said that you have a huge Russian population living in Israel. So a lot of the people who are living in Israel, they're Russians. Okay, a great population, and so with that being a reality, Russia was unable. Okay, they didn't want to do a treaty or with Iran because they have a lot of Russian, what he said, citizens living in Israel. Okay, and so Russia really doesn't want to go against its own people. All right, and so that and that's another thing. All right, and also Scott Ritter, he also said the same thing. Okay, Scott Ritter, he said the same thing, that you have a lot of Russians who are Israelis. Okay, so that's just more proof that these people are not the real Jews that the Bible speaks about. All right, and notice how all of this is going on. The Christians are silent. Okay, the Christians are running around pointing the finger at the Hebrew Israelites, saying because we didn't vote, our vote, our lack of not voting is what put a Trumper man in office. Okay, so yeah, the Israelis lost the battle between them and the Iranians. Now, why do I say that? Okay, well, in any fight, okay, in any fight you watch, any fight you see, when you have two people fighting, okay, and someone jumps in the fight, they're jumping in the fight because their friend, okay, and we know that Israel is an ally of the United States. So they jump in the fight because, as I said in the last video, the Lord, okay, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, is directing those missiles. Okay, they're trying to say that it's the Iron Dome, is these new hypersonic missiles. They're trying to give it credit to that. Okay, but as I showed in one of the previous videos, all right, it's the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai who is directing those missiles and getting them through their defenses. Okay, and they would have already defeated Israel. Okay, if I don't know if people who have been paying attention to this, but strategically, and strategically, I was even surprised. All right, we don't know much about Iran. Okay, we don't. We just look at them like people who live in the desert. Okay, with these long dresses on. So we weren't around during a time when when they were a great empire. Okay, the Persians were a great empire. And so strategically, their strategy, okay, in this exchange between them and Israel is far more superior, to the point to where air power was not needed, and thus going back to the scripture, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Okay. You have thousands of Israelis who are fleeing. Okay. Now they're fleeing that part of the country. Now they're fleeing. All right. So I'm going to read some scriptures. All right. Start off with this scripture. This is Isaiah 13 and 19, and it says, "And Babylon, okay, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency." Okay. And that's talking about America. This is talking about America. Okay. This is not talking about ancient Babylon. All right. Ancient Babylon didn't go down in that manner. Okay. But America has lived up to the expectation of ancient Babylon. All right. It's spiritually ancient Babylon. It's spiritually Rome. Okay. Spiritually Egypt. Okay. And so it says, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay. So this place is going to be utterly destroyed. Okay. Not only America, but also Israel. Okay. Israel is going to be destroyed. Okay. Thus saith the Lord. Now, the reason for me saying that, okay, is because now you have these other countries, all right, Russia, China, they don't know, okay, what America is going to do next. Okay. They don't know what America is going to do next. And, pretty much, America, they've done a cowardly act in Salakia because, there's a lot going on. But anyway, America committed a cowardly act by stepping in and attacking Iran. All right, that was a cowardly act. And so the rest of these countries, they're looking like, they don't know, it could be them next. Okay, they're not going to risk it. Okay, NATO could very well, do an attack on Russia. Okay, out of the blue. And so, these countries are considering this, and preemptive strikes. That's something that they try to avoid, but in this atmosphere, it's uncertain. Okay, so let me see something real quick. Okay, first Timothy 6:17, it says, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, okay, but in the living power. So, you're going to have a lot of people, who view what just took place as a strong act, a strong stance by America, okay? You're going to have people who believe that fact. And so, the more and more that they do that, okay, you have people who give up their belief in the Most High altogether, okay? But these are weak people, all right? But see, that's the pride of this devil's heart, of his mind, okay? He understands that, okay? And so people, as we see, people have gotten away from trusting and having confidence in the Most High to now to where they put their confidence and place their confidence in money and riches and wealth, thinking, that's going to be, what's going to get them delivered. Not heeding, taking heed to the warning that America altogether is about to be destroyed. Now, Trump did give a warning. He definitely did give a warning to the Iranians that he was going. And I think he gave them a week in advance, or a couple of days in advance. He warned them that the U.S. was going to drop those bombs, in which them dropping the bombs in Iran was a failure. People don't know that it was a failure. Scott Ritter brought it out. Okay. It was an utter failure, and it cost money. Okay, it cost money. So, my belief, all right, and since I'm here, okay, I can hit 1 Corinthians 14:8. It says, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So you don't see anybody, all right, the Christians or any of these people have any answers. And so this is the way that it's going to play out, going here on down. Okay? So, brothers and, sisters, get prepared for the bandwagon. Okay? Because the bandwagon is coming. All right? Because no one is going to have the answers except for the true prophets of the Lord. All right? So, and, as the scripture said, there shall be gnashing of teeth. All right? And that's going to play out. All right? Because of the pride of the heart of this devil. He's overstepped his bounds. All right? And so, there's no scripture that says the Iranians are going to defeat America. No, that's not what's going to happen. All right. All of these countries are going to gather in the valley of decision. All right, where the Lord is going to, wipe out all of these armies of the world. But first, as we are seeing, Trump's involvement in Iran, one, it saved Israel. Okay? It saved Israel. Two, okay, come Monday, this could have adverse effects because Iran has already began pulling oil reserves, crude oil, refined oil, their oil, and they're moving oil out of fear that there could be a attack on their oil fields. That is terrible news for investors. That does damage to the American dollar, which is backed by the petrodollar. Okay? So that's terrible news. It makes the stock market volatile. All right? I'm not a person that's in the stocks, but from the little that I know, okay, I know, and I'm telling you, I'm not at all, be trying to learn it, but I just can't really. But from what I learned and the terminology and looking up the terminology, all right, it could be good, or it could be utterly disastrous for trade, okay? And which that play, but that would play into the MOTB, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, okay? If the economy takes a hit, like it could, all right, it could very well could, well, then they already have a system in place. This system is in place. Now, see, Christians, all right, these Christians are, they're twiddling their fingers, all right? They're twiddling their thumbs, not knowing. A lot of people are not reporting on what's, how this is going to involve, affect the Israelites. And you're gonna see that you're the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay? It's going to affect you. All right? And that's who it's set up to affect you. All right? And force you to take that chip. And a lot of you are going to receive the mark. Okay? A lot of you are going to receive the mark. Because, of your lifestyle. Okay? A lifestyle that, you either want to continue in or just to survive, period. Okay? Just to survive, period. And so you got these Christians who are naysayers, and they're saying, the RFID chip can't be the mark of the beast, because what about the people in the Amazon forest? What about the people on these islands? Okay, they're not going to be forced to, they possibly can't be chipped. Okay, so but reading the scripture, okay, you have to understand that this is talking about trade, major markets and small, major markets and players, small markets and players and countries. All right. So someone living in the Amazon forest, it's not going to matter. Okay. The pygmies or whatever, it's not going to matter to them, because they are not in a currency based environment. Okay, they're basically animals. Okay, they're people, and they could be Israelites, but they're basically they're not dealing with currency, and yeah, some of them, you get the technology that gets leaked to them, but a chip is not going to do them any good. All right, the elite won't even waste their time in trying to give them a chip. All right, because they're not going to Walmart. Okay. So when people, come up and say, "Oh man, they can't possibly chip everybody in the world," well, that's true, but they are going to, anyone who's, you paper chasers, okay, you're gonna get chipped. All right, you're gonna have to take the chip, and that's why, roughly paraphrasing the scripture where it says, the ships are going to be standing afar off, and people are going to be weeping because that city, that great city, all right, with all of the, the Las Vegases and Miami's and LA's and Chicago's and New York's, that city that the world loves so much will be no longer in existence. Okay, it will be no longer in existence. So we saw Trump run and leave after Israel did what it did, and so what I believe was that they were making ready their plans to go ahead and get the ball rolling on the MOTB being unleashed on the public. All right, especially here in Babylon the Great. Okay, and you're gonna have Jake that takes it. Okay, that's going to get it, because they gotta feed those babies, feed that woman that they love. All right, feed that man that they love. All right, they gotta keep them happy. So they're gonna get it. All right, or they're gonna have their feelings hurt. Okay. Let me get a scripture 1 minute. All right. This Isaiah 49 has popped up again. All right. This is Isaiah 49:16. It says, "Thy terribleness hath deceived thee." Okay. So Netanyahu, okay, he got his ass. He got a belt put to ass. Okay. Now I was thinking that maybe, and which is still possible, we may still see some mushroom clouds sprinkled into this. All right. They may sprinkle some mushroom clouds into this because the 1948ers have been greatly humiliated. Okay, they have been greatly humiliated, and their God, their God has shown to be America. Okay, their God has ultimately shown to be America. All right, because again, if it wasn't for Donald Trump stepping in, okay, the Palestinians would be in control of Israel. Okay, as we see that the Iranians, okay, let me get a video. We're gonna look at it. Okay, they have been deceived. Okay, see, thy terribleness hath deceived thee. Okay, and the pride of thine heart. I'm gonna read this and then get the video. O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Okay. See, now here we go. Though thou should make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. So these are, the governments, all right, of Esau, all right, okay, in a nutshell, okay. America, okay, first and foremost in this scripture, okay, and also Israel, which is an ally, okay, because when you're dwelling in the cliff of the rock, and you're in the cave, weapons and things can't penetrate those rocks, okay, so things can seem safe up inside of a cave, especially in a cave, on top of a hill. You have the advantage. There was a movie called Hamburger Hill, a war movie, okay, and it was hell getting up that damn hill for those soldiers, okay. It was a classic movie as well. Though thou should maketh thy nest as high as the eagle, okay. So you have, it would seem that you think that you have the advantage, okay, but you surely don't, because the Lord said, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. This is not us, this is not me, this is the Lord saying that he's going to bring you down, all right. And we're seeing how he's operating. So you have no control at this point, all right. See, your actions, okay, your actions come from the Lord stiffening your neck, okay. It seems, it seemed, ridiculous to do, but the Lord has stiffened your neck as he did Pharaoh, all right. So let me get this video real quick. Fair use, fair use, fair use. You see now, and people are fleeing. You can no longer say those those missiles weren't hitting nothing. They were in. See, they were lies. Okay, speaking lies and hypocrisy. Okay, and that's what they've been doing. They're trying to cover it up in the media to the point to the Iranians said, okay, we're not hitting nothing. Let's see what we not hitting. And now you have thousands of people fleeing Israel. Now, Israel is your land. Don't you want to go down with the ship? Aren't you the people of the Bible? So why did America have to jump in the fight? That would always be considered you got your ass whooped. Okay? You got your ass whooped, man. And it is what it is. They whooped your ass. Okay? Okay, and they're not hitting, civilian. How the Israelis were, atrocious in the way that they attacked. They hit civilian establishments. These people are hitting. Their strategy is they're hitting key positions. All right, and which they could have. When you look at some of the footage, they could have created a vacuum with I think they surprised themselves really I believe they really surprised themselves, with the success that they've had. Okay, but it's not them, all right? It's not the Iranians with the success. It's actually the Most High working against, the U.S. and the 1948ers. It's your time to go, all right? And so, again, earlier I mentioned the valley of decision, where you're going to have all of these countries going. For a week, and I forgot what I was going to say, but for a week or more, you have had these military, what do you call them? Military soldiers, people that are in the military, all right? Servicemen and women. So you've had these military servicemen and women. They have been being fed for the past couple of weeks steak and lobster. They have been being fed steak and lobster. And so you're being fed steak and lobster. You're eating good. They're giving you that, even though steak is an abomination, lobster is an abomination to us, but they're feeding you that because you are no doubtly about to go and make the ultimate sacrifice, because they're going to send troops into that region, and those troops are never coming home again. All right? Those troops are never coming home again. So we're there, man. We're there. Let me go back to the scripture, all right? And Jeremiah 49:17 also, Edom shall be a desolation, all right? Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. And that's talking about America. Okay? It's going to be like, ooh, damn, look at that shit. It's going to be totally destroyed. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbors' cities thereof. So that's the United States. Okay? Saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. We're not going to be here, man. All right? So people are, this shit is temporary. Okay? But, the Christians are not preparing you. Okay? They're not preparing you. You're not being prepared. Okay? Israelite groups are not preparing you. You're not being prepared. They're not telling you that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. You're not, hey, once they push this thing, man, once this thing goes forward, now I'm not saying, for a certainty it's going to be Monday, okay? But I really believe that, hey, we'll be in the kingdom by December, man. Okay? Lord willing. Because if the scriptures tell you, man, hey, pray that you don't, let me see. Let me get that real quick. Okay, Matthew 24:20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, okay, neither on the Sabbath day. All right, so man, hey man, when all hell breaks loose, man, hey, you don't want it to be in the wintertime. Okay, supplies will be low. Your toes, hey man, hey, cold. You know, they're dropping these bombs. No telling what, you know, if they sprinkle some mushroom clouds in there may be what do you call it? The fallout. You know, which will make it colder. All right, so Lord willing, and I could go on and on and on, but we're gonna take it, one step at a time. All right, and just pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that we get out of here, man. Okay, this place is a vexation. So till next time, till then, Shalom.